Welcome to part 2 of Practical Mysticism, Understanding, Acceptance, Application, with a focus on application. In part 1 of the focus on application, which is in the previous video post number 6, 5 areas of application were mentioned, and 3 of those were focused on. Today, we'll focus on the remaining 2. To start, here is a list of all 5 areas of application for reference and for review. Number 1, giving no credence or power to any evidence of the 5 senses. Giving no power to any so-called person, place, or thing. Seeing the world of images as one neutral tapestry of illusion, and therefore not reacting to anything. Number 2, no longer seeking outside for safety, supply, love, or for anything at all. Number 3, observing behavior in order to bring to awareness the motivation for the behavior and no longer engaging in behaviors motivated by fear, lack, or littleness. Number 4, raising to awareness all beliefs, thoughts, and concepts associated with humanhood and the false world and letting them go. Number 5, trusting in the ever-present, infinite, invisible, spiritual reality of oneness, stated alternatively as trusting in God and/or trusting in the true nature of yourself, that nature being wholeness and completion, being self-sustaining and self-maintaining, being infinite, eternal, and joyful. In part 1 of Focus on Application, we looked at numbers 1, 2, and 5 of those that we just viewed. And now let's look more deeply at number 3. Number 3, observing behavior in order to bring to awareness the motivation for the behavior and no longer engaging in behaviors motivated by fear, lack, or littleness. Our behaviors offer a wonderful way of uncovering our erroneous beliefs. Our behaviors belie our beliefs. Our behaviors betray our beliefs. In other words, our behaviors point to our beliefs because beliefs motivate our behaviors. If we discover that our behaviors are motivated by belief in lack, limitation, fear, or weakness, then we can drop those beliefs by not following through on the behavior. The behaviors that are motivated by fear, lack, loss, limitation, or weakness are defenses against fear, lack, loss, limitation, and weakness. Let's look at a common example. Let's say you have a job and you find yourself engaging in people-pleasing with your boss. You engage in people-pleasing because you fear losing your job. You engage in people-pleasing because you see your boss as your source of supply and sustenance. Therefore, you must believe in lack, loss, fear, and powerlessness, and you trust in outside seeking. You believe in your own weakness and inadequacy because you're not identifying yourself as the incorporeal, infinite, whole, spiritual reality of completion. So, by engaging in people pleasing behavior, you are defending against lack, defending against loss, defending against fear, limitation, and weakness, and you are reinforcing the beliefs in lack, fear, loss, limitation, and powerlessness in the mind by making them real. You are therefore misidentifying yourself, and you are perpetuating limitation in experience. Cessation of behaviors motivated by the beliefs in lack, fear, loss, limitation, and weakness are replaced by trust in the infinite, invisible, self-sustaining, self-maintaining nature of God and of myself, since I and my Father are one. Some common defensive behaviors, which are motivated by beliefs in fear, lack, and littleness, are people-pleasing, hoarding, taking preventative measures, taking protective measures, manipulating others, attacking, planning, and deprivation, though this list is far from exhaustive. Next and last, let's look at number 4. Number 4, raising to awareness all beliefs, thoughts, and concepts associated with humanhood and the false world, and letting them go. Maintaining erroneous beliefs and concepts in the mind keeps the mind mired in duality, unreality, unhappiness, and fear. Retaining beliefs and concepts associated with humanhood and the false world keeps the mind lingering in time and riding the un-merry-go-round of reincarnation. Holding on to false ideas in the mind keeps the mind asleep in the dream of separation and opposites. Where we are headed in the practice of releasing false ideas is to the outcome of the New Testament teaching of, quote, "Take no thought for your life, for what you shall eat or drink, or what you shall wear," end quote. In other words, we are heading toward taking no human thought. There are 3 helpful ways of exposing false thoughts, beliefs, and concepts. The first way is to be aware of the motivations for behavior, and this practice was already discussed earlier. The second way of bringing erroneous beliefs to light is to be aware of your emotions, particularly negative emotions such as fear, anxiety, unhappiness, or loss of peace of any kind. Your emotions are triggered by your beliefs. Your negative emotions are not triggered by people, circumstances, or by anything seemingly outside yourself. Your emotions will inform you of what you believe if you trace them back to the mind. Let's look at an example. Let's say you're feeling depressed. This feeling of depression is a foolproof and powerful indicator that you're believing something that is untrue and unnecessary. What are you believing about yourself, about the world, about others? Perhaps you believe you are powerless, that you are a tiny fragment in a great, big, powerful universe of forces beyond your control. That's pretty depressing. Perhaps you believe in statistics, in economic trends, or in news reports. Maybe you believe that your sources of supply and sustenance are outside of you, and you must seek after them and struggle to get them. Maybe you believe you must sacrifice yourself in some way to get your needs met. Maybe you do believe that your identity is a human being. Maybe you believe that the world is made of matter and that you must manipulate it and others in order to survive. Maybe you believe in survival. All of these beliefs and many, many others feel bad. You can let them go and feel happy. Let them go and replace them with truth and with trust in your own incorporeal, true nature. Feelings have the potential to fully release the mind from bondage to illusion and its subsequent suffering if they are used correctly. Loss of peace always indicates that you are misidentifying yourself, your nature, and the nature of the world. If you really want to go deep with this, you'll find that all beliefs that feel bad are founded on the core false belief in a false identity as a body in a material world. Believing I am a body in a material world is the mother of all subsequent erroneous beliefs. Wrong identity is the root false belief, and the tree of all false concepts and beliefs grows out from that root. The fast track to mind purification is to lay the axe at the root. You might be getting the not so subtle hint that all beliefs and concepts are untrue. There are no beliefs or concepts in reality, in pure oneness, in spirit. No beliefs are necessary. They can all be let go. A helpful analogy is that of an old-fashioned movie projector. We have the light of the projector, which is a metaphor for the light of truth or spirit. Then we have the film strip, which is a metaphor for the mind that is full of beliefs and concepts. And finally, we have the screen, which is a metaphor for the images of the world, the outpicturings of the contents of the mind. When we drop false beliefs, it's as if we're cleaning up the film strip, and then on the screen, we no longer experience the effects of those beliefs. At first, it seems like we're cleaning up that film strip more and more, letting go of more and more beliefs. And at some point, we realize that we can simply remove the film strip and let the light of truth, the light of our true nature, run the show. This metaphor has some holes in it, but it is pointing to living by grace by emptying the mind of falsehood. When looking at dropping false beliefs in the context of practicing defenselessness and trust, we find that beliefs are defenses. They are pseudo-protections and an unreliable means of pseudo-sustenance. Living by beliefs as means of survival and fulfillment is a shabby substitute for living by the grace of God. Being without beliefs is being defenseless. Trusting in spirit is a replacement for holding on to beliefs and concepts. You either live by beliefs or live by grace. So we see that paying attention to emotions and tracing them back to the triggering beliefs is a very simple yet very powerful tool for purifying the mind. And what's more, it's foolproof. Any belief that triggers a loss of peace should be dropped like a hot coal. It is safe to drop these beliefs. You do not need them. The only harm is in keeping them. The third way of exposing false thoughts, beliefs, and concepts is to realize that the outer reflects the inner. Referring to the movie projector analogy from earlier, the images on the screen, outer, reflect the contents of the film strip, inner. Our beliefs are outpictured in our experience. Remember, the world is all mind and only mind. It is a conceptual veil distorting our perception of the invisible spiritual universe that is actually present here now. The application of the idea that the outer reflects the inner works best if you look at your own little world, so to speak. In other words, look at your body image and the images you call your body of affairs. While it is so that the entire cosmos is mind, and your mind is that cosmic mind, the world at large reflects the collective consciousness. So for this practice, it's most helpful to look in the mirror of your body and your circumstances, situations, and relationships. These are a mirror of the contents of your mind, and it is with the mind we must work. We are attempting to purify the mind of all thoughts, beliefs, and concepts associated with the belief of being a human being in a material world. So look around you and take an inventory of your circumstances. Do you believe in sickness? Do you believe in lack? Do you believe that objects and people in your environment have power? Do people or insects or viruses seem to be attacking you? Do you believe in attack? These are just a few examples. Once you've uncovered these false beliefs by looking in the mirror of circumstances, you must let them go. Remember to replace the dropped beliefs with trust in the infinite, complete, whole, self-sustaining, self-maintaining nature of your true identity as spirit. Thus, you are replacing falsehood with truth. The final words for today will be a reminder to be vigilant for choosing truth and releasing falsehood, and to practice defenselessness and trust in spirit. The written transcript of this post, including the images and diagrams, can be found in the Practical Mysticism blog at the link in the notes. Thank you, and may grace be your only experience.